Reform UK hires ex-Tory MP who was suspended for using racist language. Anne-Marie Morris, twice suspended while an MP between 2010 and 2024, will lead Reform's social care policy. And here she is. So let's find out a little bit more about her.
Yes, well, the Reform UK news is they've just sent out a big sort of press release where they're heralding a defection to the party.
Oh, from a sitting MP?
No, it's a former MP.
Does that count as a defection?
Not really, but
surely that's just someone joining.
So what they say is former Conservative MP Anne-Marie Morris.
That rings a bell. Carry on.
Has today joined Reform UK. She's going to head up the party's policy on social care. Now, this has been welcomed. Dr. David Ball, who's the new chairman, has said, "We are delighted to welcome Anne-Marie Morris to Reform UK."
Did she lose the whip for using the N-word in committee?
She did.
I knew
it
rang a bell. That's all she's known for, really.
She did get a considerable amount of coverage for that, James.
Yes.
So this was in July 2017. She was on a parliamentary panel debating Brexit and used the N-word. She then actually had the whip restored by Theresa May 5 months later because you may recall there was desperate for votes with the sort of DUP. So she did say at the time she regretted it. She regrets it unreservedly.
David Ball, the new chair of Reform, said he was delighted to welcome Morris. She brings a wealth of experience with her and will be a crucial part in developing the party's social care policy as we look to build our policy platform ahead of the next general election, he said. Here is that moment of Anne using the N-word.
It isn't all doom and gloom. And then we get to the real woodpile, which is, in 2 years, what happened?
At the time, we had Motormouth Carol Malone defending the casual racism on show.
So basically, it's outdated, it's wrong, it's crap. She knew immediately that she said it, but it wasn't racist because to be racist, it had to be said at someone, to someone, or about someone. This was said, as you've just said. This was just said in the form of a metaphor. Now you say you don't know how someone could use that word. Let me tell you, it's because you're not old enough. Because you're not old enough to remember a time, and I'm not saying this is a good thing.
My point.
You're not old enough to remember a time when this word was. So I wouldn't say common parlance, but I remember clothes in stores being labelled N brown to describe a shade of brown. So for you to say people were racist to use that word, so you can roll your eyes and all the rest of it. But the bottom line is, I don't believe she was. I don't believe for a second it was something that came into the back of her. It came from the back of her head to the front. Have you never said anything crass before? Have you never said anything unintentional? Not around this one particularly, but about anything, and wished you hadn't said it.
I mean, I've been at countless Reform press conferences, James, where they've said we're not going to let sort of any old person in. I don't know, by the way, she had various positions on the Health and Social Care Select Committee, but I think clearly it's going to attract various headlines.
Yeah, although they're probably taking the view that, everybody knows what they stand for. No one's going to be surprised by that at all, and they'll just ride out any potential controversy that may be thrown up by the fact that they're boasting about recruiting someone who used the N-word. I mean, I don't think anyone's ever used the N-word in committees before or since. At the House of Commons, there was an odd member of the House of Lords a few years ago who did it as well, but he'll probably be the next defection.
Click here for a bunch of rotten, dumb and bigoted Reform councillors who haven't got a clue how to run a council.